Are the Toronto Maple Leafs so desperate right now that they're fishing in Pittsburgh's reject pile? I mean, seriously, folks, when you're looking at a player the Penguins couldn't figure out what to do with, what does that tell you about where this franchise is at? But hold on, before you write this off as another classic Leafs panic move, there might actually be some method to this madness. Let's break down what we're dealing with here. Philip Tomasino. Remember that name from the 2019 draft? 24th overall pick, Mississauga native. The kind of local kid story that Toronto media loves to romanticize. The Penguins just threw him on waivers Tuesday, and Michael Motzi from Leafs Nation is practically begging Brad Treliving to pull the trigger on this claim. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Tomasino isn't some washed-up veteran limping to the finish line. This is a young player, still just 23 years old, who's recorded 95 points across 218 NHL games. That's not elite production, sure, but it's not nothing either. The kid can play. The question is, why hasn't he? 1 assist in 9 games this season with Pittsburgh. That's brutal. That's the kind of stat line that gets you DFA'd in baseball or cut in football. But hockey? Hockey gives you another chance, especially when you're a former first-rounder who hasn't completely figured out yet. Let's talk about Toronto's situation, because context is everything here. The Leafs are sitting at 9-9-2. That's not just mediocre. That's dangerously mediocre for a team with Stanley Cup aspirations and a core that's running out of time. The injury bug has absolutely decimated this roster, and Brad Treliving is out here taking the blame like a captain going down with his ship. You're not trading your way out of problems. Treliving said Tuesday. Noble sentiment. Brad, really inspiring stuff. But here's the thing. When your forward depth looks thinner than a Tim Hortons coffee during a morning rush, you have to do something. You can't just sit there and hope Austin Matthews' backups suddenly develop elite scoring touch. Motzi makes a compelling point about the right shot forward situation. Toronto has exactly 3. William Nylander, Kaye Jarnkrok, and Nicholas Roy. And Roy, he's expected to miss games with an upper body injury. So now you're down to 2 legitimate right shot options in your forward group. That's not depth. That's a crisis waiting to happen in the playoffs. Here's where this gets fascinating from a management perspective. Claiming Tomasino isn't just about this season. It's about securing his rights through the 2028 to 29 season. That's 4 more years of team control on a player who might just need the right environment to break out. And what does it cost Toronto? Essentially nothing. Motzi suggests waiving either Sammy Blais or Philippe Myers to make room. Let's be honest, neither of those guys is moving the needle for this team when healthy anyway. They're depth pieces, insurance policies, the kind of players you forget are on the roster until someone gets hurt. If you can swap one of them for a 23-year-old former first-rounder with offensive upside, that's not even a difficult decision. The beauty of this move is the exit strategy. If Tomasino comes to Toronto and continues to struggle, you simply put him back on waivers. No harm, no foul. But if he catches fire, if he finds chemistry with one of Toronto's star centers, if playing in his hometown with actual offensive talent around him unlocks something that Pittsburgh and Nashville couldn't access, then suddenly you've got a middle 6 scoring winger on a bargain contract for the next 4 years. Now, let's zoom out for a second because this Tomasino situation doesn't exist in a vacuum. Darren Dreger dropped some interesting intel on TSN's insider trading about the broader market conditions. And it's not pretty for buyers right now. The Canadians are one of those teams that are scouring the league. They're looking for the right fit up front, Dreger explained. The problem is there are so few sellers. The prices are high. If Montreal, a team that's not even in playoff contention, is finding the market too expensive, what does that mean for Toronto? It means the Maple Leafs probably can't afford to make a big splash trade right now without gutting their prospect pool or future draft capital, which makes a waiver claim like Tomasino even more attractive. You're adding talent without surrendering assets. The market scarcity also explains why teams are getting creative. The Calgary Flames claimed John Beecher earlier Tuesday, a left-handed center who could have helped multiple teams but went to Calgary because of waiver priority. These marginal additions matter when the trade market is frozen and everyone's hoarding their assets. Let's address the elephant in the room. Why hasn't Tomasino worked out yet? This is a player who dominated junior hockey, who showed flashes of brilliance in the AHL, who was drafted in the first round for a reason. What's the disconnect? Sometimes it's systems. Nashville plays a certain way. Defensive, structured, not exactly conducive to young offensive players trying to find their game. Pittsburgh's been a disaster this season, cycling through coaches and strategies like they're going out of style. Maybe Tomasino just needs stability. Maybe he needs to play with actual talent instead of being buried on a fourth line. Or maybe, and this is a harsh reality, he's just not that good. Maybe he's a tweener, a player who's too skilled for the AHL, but not quite skilled enough for consistent NHL success. It happens. First-round picks bust all the time. But here's the thing. You don't know until you try, and the Maple Leafs are in a position where they need to try. There's something romantic about the Mississauga connection that we can't ignore. Tomasino grew up in the Toronto area, probably grew up watching the Maple Leafs, dreaming of wearing that blue and white jersey. Does that matter? Maybe not from a pure hockey standpoint, but motivation and comfort can be real factors in player performance. Playing at home, in front of family and friends, with the pressure and passion of the Toronto market, that could either crush him or elevate him. It's a gamble, but it's a gamble the Leafs should be willing to take given their current circumstances. The waiver window closes at 2 p.m. Friday. That's the deadline. That's when Treliving has to make a decision. And honestly, the decision should be easy. You claim him. You give him a shot. You see if there's anything there. Because here's the alternative. You do nothing. You keep rolling with the same depleted roster, and you watch the season slip away while telling yourself you'll make a big move at the trade deadline. But by then, it might be too late. The Atlantic Division is brutal this year, and every point matters. Toronto can't afford to be passive right now. They can't afford to let opportunities slip through their fingers because they're worried about the optics or because they're holding out for a bigger fish. Sometimes the best moves are the small ones, the calculated risks that don't make headlines but quietly improve your roster. So here's my take. The Maple Leafs should absolutely claim Philip Tomasino off waivers. It's low risk, potentially high reward, and it addresses a legitimate roster need. Will he be the savior of Toronto's season? Probably not. But could he be a useful piece who helps stabilize the forward group during this injury crisis? Absolutely. The Leafs are at a crossroads right now. They can either be aggressive and creative in finding solutions, or they can be passive and hope things magically improve. Brad Treliving said you can't trade your way out of problems, and he's right. But you can claim your way into opportunities. What do you think? Should Toronto take a flyer on Tomasino, or is this just another distraction from the team's bigger issues? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button if you want to see more in-depth Leafs coverage. This is going to be a wild ride, folks, and we're just getting started. What angle would you like me to explore next for your channel?